Hello, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Dragonfries. Cut! For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Age series, and we will definitely be doing an entire series on the upcoming game, Inquisition. Did I just screw up Inquisition? So, as a sort of prerequisite, build-up, announcement that we're going to be doing that, I figured we'd go through the Dragon Age Keep, which is currently in open beta for anyone to check out, which pretty much is save importing that the previous Dragon Age games had for Dragon Age 2. If you've played Mass Effect, it's like that. Same thing, it imports your previous choices from previous games into the new game, so that your world can continue and all your choices will have some kind of effect on the new game. The only issue with this is it's gone from an old console generation into the new console generation. So transporting saves from one console generation to another is kind of a pain in the ass. So they sort of destroyed the middleman, just buried him alive, and cut right to the chase and gave you Dragon Age Keep, which allows you to pick all choices that you want, even if you don't own all the DLC. I do, or I did, on the Xbox. This is another great thing. I don't have to buy all the goddamn DLC all over again, since I don't have the game on the PC. It was my original intention to play through Origins and Dragon Age 2 before Inquisition came out and then upload it all. But we have like 2 weeks before the game's out, so really I don't think I could upload that many videos in such a short period of time. So yeah, I figured the best thing we could do is do the Dragon Age Keep thing, show you that, and show you what choices I've made for the previous games. We're going to go through what I've actually done, not choosing random shit. I have never clicked on this button before, no idea what it's going to do. It's going to sync my data with my Origin account, but I don't have any data on my Origin account. I never use Origin. So it's going to find absolutely nothing. So you can change these, basically picking a default Origin thing, and then you can change the choices later on. But you can apparently make your own custom characters immediately from the Dragon Age Keep thing. This is just in beta, obviously. So, Dalish Elf Warrior. No, I was always... Well, we can just cut the chase. We will go Dwarf Noble for my... Yeah, Duranai Dugan. The human and the dwarf origin story was always my favourite. Mainly the dwarf one because of the politics at the beginning with the origin and everything, and your brother fucking betraying you, killing your other brother, and all that shit. None of you haven't played Origins, right? I'm not spoiling anything, am I? Because if you haven't played Origins, go do it. Because it's an awesome RPG game. It really is. Choose this hero. There you go. We'll cut out the bit where it took me 12 fucking hours to figure out that you had to click on the choose this hero button. And now you're choosing Dragon Age 2 hero, which was... My favourite playthrough for Dragon Age 2 was as a mage chick and just literally taking the piss out of everyone. I'd use the joke option for everything. My character was just a wise ass. And some of the jokes were fucking hilarious, but playing as a mage was definitely the best class, and the humour options were quite fucking good as well. Thank you. You're now ready to discover, shape and share your Dragon Age experience. What's your story?
If you believe the stories, mankind's pride gave rise to the Darkspawn. Countless in number and toxic to all life, Darkspawn search endlessly for an archdemon. When they find one, Darkspawn armies surge up from their corrupt barrows beneath the ground, and a blight begins. Grey Wardens are the only warriors capable of destroying an archdemon, and history always honors the one who sacrifices all to kill the beast. In the fifth blight, the Warden was the hero of Ferelden, a dwarven royal, second child of King Endrin Iduken. Framed for a murder and ultimately cast out, the young noble met Duncan, a Grey Warden who saw the dwarf's potential as a Warden recruit. The allied Ferelden and Grey Warden forces met in Ostagar, where King Kaelin's armies and a host of Wardens gathered, ready to destroy the Darkspawn. But valor turned to despair as Loghain betrayed his king. Kaelin's forces were slaughtered, and the south was lost. The hero, now a full-fledged Grey Warden, survived with the aid of Flemeth, the mysterious witch of the wilds. Joined by Flemeth's daughter, Morrigan, and a Grey Warden named Alistair, the hero set out to build an army strong enough to abolish the Blight. With the traitorous Loghain now seated on Ferelden's throne, the Warden sought help from the influential Arl Eamon of Redcliffe. However, they arrived in Redcliffe to find the town under siege. As each night, undead rose in waves and assailed the battered village.
And here, throughout all of this, you can choose whether or not you did a certain thing during all of this. For Redcliffe, for instance, you had an option to just leave it and let everyone die. If you wanted the best outcome, this was not a very good idea. Do not help Redcliffe. I helped Redcliffe. I wasn't a complete asshole.
With the hero's help, the people of Redcliffe stood fast against the undead horde. The Wardens reached Arl Eamon's castle only to find the Arl lying at the edge of death, and his court fallen into madness. To save his father's life, Eamon's young son, Connor, had made a deal with a demon.
Okay, in this loss you had Connor died, Connor possessed. Yeah, the best option you could do with this was dealing with the mage of Circle of Magi first, which allowed you to pull the mages in and deal with the demon without killing the kid. So, Connor alive, not possessed.
And quickly fallen victim to its possession. The hero intervened, freeing Connor from possession and breaking the demon's hold over Redcliffe. But deals with demons are never straightforward. The demon agreed only to save Eamon's life, not restore him to health. Arl Eamon needed a miracle to recover.
And I was already there with the ashes of
located
Andraste.
an urn containing the sacred ashes of Andraste, which were said to cure any ailment.
I was telling the story,
was
Varric.
protected by ancient traps, tests of will, and a dragon-worshipping cult that wanted to twist the urn's power to its own ends.
You can poison. The urn is allegedly the sacred ashes of the prophet Andraste, which is the bride of the Maker, which is the god in the Dragon Age universe. You could either, I assume, you dump the dragon blood and then essentially pissed it in the urn, or you could leave it and only take a small piece of it. Do not bring Liliana with you if you decide to piss in the urn, I'm just saying.
The urn remained pure, but mysteriously disappeared after the Wardens departed. Only the temple dedicated to it still stands. With a pinch of the ashes, the hero restored the Arl to health. Informed of Loghain's treachery, Eamon swore his political and military support. The circles of Magi are bound by oath to aid the Grey Wardens in times of blight. However, Lake Calenhad's tower could offer little help. One of its mages, Uldred, had become possessed by a pride demon and was twisting other circle mages into abominations.
And in this situation, you could either support the Templars and wipe out all the mage, or cull the mages, or you could support the mages and not cull them all. The conundrum here was whether or not the surviving mages were and connected by, blood magic. Blood magic!
Hero fought to the top of the tower and defeated Uldred, saving the remaining mages. Grateful for their lives, the mages joined the Warden's army. The allies gained at the Circle were not the only soldiers to join the Warden's forces, however. Dalish elves don't usually make alliances, but even deep hatred can be set aside in the face of oblivion. An ancient curse was destroying Ferelden's largest Dalish clans, turning the elves into werewolves. Zathrian, the clan's keeper, claimed that the cure required the heart of the great wolf, Witherfang. Years before, Zathrian himself had afflicted a group of humans with the curse that now ravaged his clan.
Now, in this instance, you could either side with the elves, side with the werewolves. Siding with the werewolves killed all of the elves, and siding with the elves wiped out the werewolves and cured the elves sick, because some of them were infected and were going to turn. The best of the best option was brokering a peace, which would cure the werewolves, free the Lady of the Forest, which was a spirit trapped in like a wolf's body or some shit, and the elves. The best one was the broker the peace one. Really, when you look at the fundamentals of Origins, there weren't much in the way of choice. I completed this game fucking how many times? I cannot play it. I can't play it anymore. I really can't play it anymore. 1 hour into the game and I'm just like, I know every line of dialogue. Every line of dialogue. I cannot play it anymore. Awesome game, but I've played it way too much.
As long as he lived, the curse endured. The hero freed the werewolves from the long-standing curse, and the Daedalus joined the Warden's forces. Blights may happen hundreds of years apart, but the dwarves who live below the surface of Thedas fight Darkspawn every day. No one is better schooled in battling Darkspawn than the warriors of Orzammar, except perhaps their allies of old, the Grey Wardens. The hero arrived in Orzammar in the wake of King Endrin's death to find political factions fighting for control of the dwarven capital.
Endrin was my father.
Only the vote of a venerated paragon could break the deadlock to elect a ruler, and order the dwarves to honor their Grey Warden treaty and join the battle against the new Blight. The hero set off to find a paragon named Branka, who had disappeared into the Deep Roads in search of a legendary artifact, the Anvil of the Void, created by the renowned smith Caradon to forge mighty war golems.
So yes, we ventured into the Deep Roads in search of this alleged Bronca with the help of our drunken dwarven companion named Oghren. Ginger, big axe, takes the piss out of everyone, slightly drunk all the time. Awesome character. As a dwarf, we got along fantastically, if you know what I mean. Although my guy's sort of a royal noble guy, because Endrin is my character's father, and the other candidate for the throne is, but we'll get to that in a minute. But we'll get to that. You can either side with Caradon, who's the original creator of the golems, or you can side with Branka, who's a bit crazy. And Branka happens to be Ogren's wife as well. So, yeah. I sided with the Caradon guy and destroyed the Anvil of the Void. Kind of a 50-50 choice, because in order to make war golems, you have to trap the souls of people into those golems. And you know how it goes. It starts with criminals, and eventually it just gets to be anyone that pisses me off is going to become a golem. So yeah, we destroyed it.
The hero helped Caradon destroy the Anvil of the Void, along with the dark secrets that could trap a living soul inside a mechanical construct. The hero emerged from the Deep Roads with a master-forged crown to bestow the Paragon's favor upon whichever rival candidate would be crowned king. Balin, the youngest son of King Endrin who was suspected of foul play, or Haramont, the aging traditionalist backed by the Dwarven Assembly.
Now, Balin is my younger brother. He's a cunt. He killed my older brother and tried to pin his fucking murder on me, which in turn got me exiled, and he also apparently poisoned my father, or my father died later on when he realized that Balin was a crazed, power-hungry douchebag, and that he regretted exiling me. So he either died from shame or despair or whatever, or Balin most likely poisoned him. I do believe he found poison in his room at one point as well, when one of the servants drank it or some shit. Long story short, Balin, prick. But Balin does make the better king. Over all of the outcomes, Haramont's kind of a shit king. Balin reclaims much of the Deep Roads, especially if you keep the Anvil of the Void open. He uses the war golems to reclaim much land. Basically, the better king overall. And still my younger brother, even though he's an arse. He also calls my son a bastard, because, by the way, the Dwarf Warden has a kid before he became a Warden. He agrees to make him an Idukan, and then keeps him around as like his brother's bastard and doesn't really care about him. Haramont, on the other hand, was my father's advisor and trusted me when I said that I didn't kill my brother, and swore on Endron's deathbed that he would avenge me and never let Balin be king of Orzammar. And by the way, if Balin becomes king, he executes Haramond just on the spot, rather than letting him go, despite what I say. But Haramond refuses any assistance that I send from the Grey Wardens or the King of Ferelden later on. He doesn't really expand anywhere. He just basically is a shitty king. He doesn't really do much. But the one plus side to being Haramount is at the end of the game, he names you his heir and has reinstated you as an Idukan and everything, and also you're being named a Paragon, which I highly doubt anyone's going to argue with. So, lore-wise, in the future, my Grey Warden is probably going to be the King of Orzammar. And I already have a son to continue my line, so yes. When I take Orzammar and become the King of Orzammar after Haramount kicks the bucket, I am going to reclaim all of the fucking Deep Roads and make myself a dwarven empire under the ground of Thedas. Okay? I've put a lot of thought into this, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of thought into this.
Lord Haramount claimed the crown of Orzammar. His traditionalist values keep dwarves first in all things, and safely as far underground as possible. With Dwarden's strength now bolstering the Warden's army, the hero had to deal with Loghain, so Ferelden could stand unified against the Darkspawn, before the Blight swallowed the world. The kingdom of Ferelden stood divided. While some nobles supported Loghain's regency, others condemned his inaction against the Darkspawn. Civil war brewed, and all Eamon called a landsmeet, in hopes of curtailing the conflict and removing Loghain from the throne.
Okay. Eventually, after compelling a bunch of evidence, you can get all the landsmeet, which is pretty much like a court. You're voting over the inaction or action or whatever. But eventually, we convince the landsmeet that Loghain is a right fucking asshole. Now, in this instance, what did we do here? What did we do here? Because at the end, I believe the best outcome that I did with the Dwarven Warden was screwing Morrigan. Bow chicka wow wow. Yeah, Alistair marries Queen Anora, and I execute Loghain. Because if Alistair executes Loghain, Queen Anora's father, then she refuses to marry him. So yeah, I execute him. Alistair marries the dude. I shack Morrigan and live past killing. Yes, that's right. Sorry, it's been years since I played this, but it's all in my head. It's all in the giant vault inside Soul's brain. It's all pouring out right now.
Loghain was found guilty of treason, and the hero carried out his execution in Denerim's palace. As the Warden's united army massed in Redcliffe, the Darkspawn overran Denerim, laying siege to Ferelden's capital city. The hero's army fought valiantly through Denerim and broke the Darkspawn's siege. On Fort Dracon's highest tower, the hero's strongest allies fought alongside the Warden in a final heroic battle against the massive archdemon.
What he really means is we found catapults and repeatedly smacked it in the fucking face until its HP slowly dropped to 0. Yeah, the Archdemon battle was just kind of literally spam a trebuchet over and over and over and over and over again until the Archdemon eventually died.
The Archdemon was killed without the sacrifice of a Grey Warden's life. With no Archdemon to lead them, the Darkspawn scattered. Most fled underground, still teeming in number and always seeking a new Archdemon to awaken. The shattered kingdom of Ferelden embarked on a long journey to recovery. In the Blight's aftermath, strong leadership was crucial.
Yes, I got Alistair and Anora to rule together. Alistair rules on his own, goes perfectly well. Anora rules on his own, goes perfectly well. If Anora rules on her own, then Alistair can bugger off to become a Grey Warden, or he gets executed or exiled, depending on what fucking choices you make in the previous bits of the game. But the best of the best choice is for Alistair and Anora to marry together. The realm already respects Anora as the previous king's wife, who coincidentally is Alistair's brother. I'm not sure if there's something in the whole make a translated edition about screwing your brother's wife, but apparently not.
King Kaelin's half-brother, and Queen Enora, Kaelin's widow and daughter of Loghain, joined in a political union. Together, they ushered Ferelden into a new era. Ferelden still stands, as obstinate and resolute as the Dog Lords ever are, but the events of the Fifth Blight loom over it as the nation rebuilds. For people across Thedas, legends of the hero of Ferelden remain the nation's brightest beacons of hope during its darkest times. It all began in Kirkwall, the fall of Knight Commander Meredith.
Welcome to Dragon Age 2.
Uprising. And of course, the Chantry's destruction and the onset of Mage Rebellion. One person always stood amidst the swirling chaos. Hawke, the champion of Kirkwall. The Hawke family fled Lothering, refugees from the Blight. Leandra, mother of the champion, and siblings Bethany and Carver hoped to find refuge at her family's estate in Kirkwall.
Hawke was a mage. Yes, I was a mage. Thank you, game. Thank you for telling me that.
Far to the north. As a mage with a family legacy of magic on both sides, Hawke naturally became involved in the events that ultimately led to the Mage Rebellion. The Hawks escaped the Blight with the help of Aveline Valen, a warrior and family friend. It's said that the family was also aided by Flemeth, the notorious Witch of the Wilds. Hawke's sister Bethany never reached the Free Marches. She was killed by Darkspawn while defending her family.
You bastard!
The family's first years in Kirkwall were difficult. Leandra's brother Gamlen had lost the family fortune. The Hawks lived in poverty, forced to indenture themselves in return for entrance to the city.
I believe I joined the mercenaries. The smugglers were kind of more rogue-like characters.
To pay off the debt, Hawke was forced to work for a band of mercenaries. All the while, Hawke and Carver did their best to hide Hawke's magic from the Templars.
If they ever found out, I'd slit their fucking throats.
Opportunity eventually struck in the form of a dwarf named Bartrand Tethras, who was planning an expedition to the Deep Roads. It was a long shot, but with gold gained from the expedition, Hawke could free the family from its criminal creditors and further Templar scrutiny. Hawke met a rogue Grey Warden named Anders, who possessed detailed maps of the Deep Roads. These maps were crucial to the expedition's success. Once Hawke obtained them, everything else fell quickly into place. Out of concern for his safety, Hawke insisted that Carver stay in Kirkwall rather than accompany the expedition. Hawke did find ancient dwarven treasure, but the group also stumbled upon a statuette formed from a strange red lyrium.
Wait, I did where? Okay, so that's a bit of an error, by the way. You need to edit that a bit, or did I miss something? It said here that Hawke said Carver to stay behind. Before you go into the Deep Roads, you have a choice to let your sibling come with you, in which case, eventually, by the way, spoilers, if you haven't played the game, go fucking play it. You shouldn't be watching this. But if you let your sibling come with you, they get infected by the Blight. And the only cure for the infection of the Blight is either death, aka a quick arrow shaft to the face, a couple of times, just stab, or you can become a Grey Warden. Bethany doesn't particularly like being a Grey Warden. She actually flourishes a lot better and becomes a better person in the Circle. Carver, on the other hand, actually likes being a Grey Warden. So, you know, for the better off, Carver's better off as a Grey Warden. He actually likes it, as I recall. More so than Bethany.
Hawke met a rogue Grey Warden named Anders, who possessed detailed maps.
Maybe I just didn't notice the edit choice.
These maps were crucial to the expedition's success. Once Hawke obtained them, everything else fell quickly into place. Carver joined Hawke on the expedition. The siblings found ancient dwarven treasure and a statuette formed from a strange red lyrium. Carver fell victim to the blight that suffuses the Deep Roads. but Anders led him to a group of Grey Wardens who were able to save his life. The gold Hawk recovered from the Deep Roads brought back Leandra's stately childhood home in Hightown. The Hawks had barely settled into their new home when Leandra was murdered. A deeply sinister and twisted killing. Hawk hunted down Quentin, the blood mage responsible, but could not prevent Leandra's death. Leandra's tragic death was part of a critical problem facing Kirkwall. Rising tension between the city's mages, who felt increasingly oppressed, and Templars, who grew increasingly suspicious of their activities. Adding to the strain, a large contingent of Qunari had also established themselves in Kirkwall, much to the growing discomfort of the city's rulers. After their dreadnought was shipwrecked many years before, a group of stranded Qunari were allowed to remain in a cordoned-off area in Lowtown. As time passed, the Qunari made no effort to return home, and offered no explanation about why they remained. Tensions rose to a breaking point. Revered Mother Patrice, convinced the Qunari were a threat to the Chantry's faith, incited violence between the Qunari and the Kirkwall populace. Hawk knew that Patrice would bring about unnecessary conflict, though the champion tried to stop.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, we didn't side with her because she's a crazy bitch.
Patrice orchestrated the murder of Seamus Dumar, a Viscount's son and a recent convert to the Qun. When her crime was discovered, a Qunari assassin killed her. After Seamus was murdered, the Arishok of the Qunari group lost patience with the humans of Kirkwall. They would now submit to the Qun or die. The Qunari struck hard and fast. They took the palace in Hightown and beheaded the Viscount to immediately quash any resistance. Aided by Knight Commander Meredith and First Enchanter Orsino, Hawk reached the palace and stood toe-to-toe with the fearsome Qunari leader.
In this instance, Isabella, the pirate bitch, which my character is shagging. Dinky, no, there you go. I play a chick. What the hell did you expect me to do? Don't look at me like that. Fuck off. I defeated the Arishok.
Hawk fought the Qunari leader. The fierce battle resulted in the Arishok's death and the liberation of Kirkwall from its brief occupation. The Qunari quickly withdrew from the city entirely. Hawk saved Kirkwall and earned the grudging respect of the city's Templars, mages, and nobility, along with the title that history remembers, the Champion of Kirkwall. Kirkwall's problems were still not over, however. After Viscount Dumar's death, Knight Commander Meredith took power and blocked all attempts to appoint a new Viscount. Under Meredith's command, the Templars tightened their grip on the mages, planning to suppress what Meredith saw as a growing rebellion. Anders, who spent years fighting for justice and freedom for his fellow mages, saw that the time for negotiation was past. He destroyed Kirkwall's chantry, killing hundreds, including Grand Cleric Elthina. This single act began a rebellion that spread from circle to circle, until all circles of Magi had risen up in defiance.
Now here's an interesting bit of thingamajig. Whenever I played this, my character was always sort of above the whole idea that, you know, she didn't hate the Chantry, she didn't hate the Templars, but she wasn't beyond fucking killing them if they threatened her life. But my character was a badass. You know, bring on the army of Templars. I'll kill them all. You just fucking wait me and see. But I wouldn't blow up a fucking church. You know, you're on relatively good terms with the Chantry and everything. You know, you were a mage publicly, and no one seemed to do anything about it because you were too fucking powerful. But Anders just sort of like, yeah, let's blow up shit. I don't know. I think in this instance, I just told him to fuck off and left him. Or did I? I can't remember what the hell I did, to be perfectly honest. It was ages ago. I will, of course, fine-tune all these choices later on to make it perfect before we play Dragon Age Inquisitions, but we're going to keep Anders alive. I'm pretty sure I did in this instance at least. Just told him never wanted to see him again, fuck off kind of thing.
Against Chantry rule. Though Anders had done the unforgivable, something stayed the champion's hand. Anders survived the day, although many others did not. Fighting spread swiftly through the city. Some mages rebelled openly, many of them succumbing to possession. Templars turned their swords on mages who rebelled and on those who did not. As First Enchanter Orsino refused to bend to the Templars, Knight Commander Meredith demanded that every mage in Kirkwall be put to the sword. Hawk saved many mages from Templar blades, keeping them from succumbing to possession or the
Yeah, I sided with a mage. I am, of course, a mage.
temptations of blood magic. In the end, however, Hawk was forced to strike down Orsino, who had betrayed his own values by resorting to blood magic himself. The battle proved one thing. Knight Commander Meredith had gone mad. Hawk saw the truth of it when Meredith unsheathed her sword, and the red lyrium idol from the deep roads was embedded within it. The blade fueled her hatred and paranoia, as it had for months. After a horrific battle, the red lyrium of the Knight Commander's sword consumed her as she died. Meredith became a statue, her face a frozen mask of horror. Little is known of the champion since that final battle. However, Hawk's story lives on in legend and song. Memories of the indelible changes the champion of Kirkwall brought to the face of Thedas.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the overall story of Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. Of course, the story varies depending on what origins you choose, what paths you take, and there are a lot of minor details that weren't in that particular little video cutscene thing that they did, which is awesome, by the way. That little thing that you can watch right there. But if you want to get every single minor, tiny-ass detail down to the letter, you can do this. You can tell I really love how they've done all this. But I'm a stickler for detail, ladies and gentlemen. And this has as much detail as you could fucking possibly want. Welcome to the Tapestry. Here you'll be able to create your unique world state and import it into Dragon Age Inquisition to share with friends. The Tapestry also has already been set up with a default world state. There is no save import from previous games. The Tapestry is arranged by project choices and grouped by themes or plot. To get started, use the main menu and select a product, then select a group to edit. Once you've selected the group, you'll be able to see the choices available for you to edit. As you make edits to the Tapestry, all choices will be automatically updated to ensure your world state is valid and can be imported into Dragon Age Inquisition at any time. Now you'll be able to set the outcome of a choice. You can enter the approval existing one, or you can either approve an existing one or select a different outcome. Lock the choices you don't want the Tapestry to automatically adjust by clicking the lock button. And basically, from this screen right here, you can change and edit every single little minor detail of Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, including all of the DLC, whether or not you own them to begin with. And basically compiling all of this information, you can import that save into Dragon Age Inquisitions. Now, even if you've picked I picked the Dwarf origin for that video. If I change my mind and want to use something else, I can change it from the Tapestry right here. I won't bother showing you guys all these tiny little options because I'll be here all day tweaking the shit out of this and getting it absolutely 100% perfect for Dragon Age Inquisition. But yes, guys, this is the end of this video. Basically, it's just an introduction saying we're going to be recording this game and I'm going to be loving it. I don't know why. Dragon Age is probably one of the better fucking video games that I've played over the last year. Or so, or, you know, however long it will. How long has it been since I played Dragon Age Origins? I have no idea. But yeah, overall, this video is just to say that we will be recording Inquisition when it is released. And I inspire you guys to go check out this for yourself. And if you haven't already played Origins or Dragon Age 2, you totally should. It's worth it. They're relatively cheap now to buy, and they're awesome games. Origins, in particular, I played every single playthrough and got every single achievement on. I was addicted to that game, which is the reason I can no longer play it. because it bores the shit out of me now. I know every line of dialogue, like I've said. So, yeah, it's not an option going back to play it. My original intention was to play Origins and Dragon Age 2, record them both and upload them to the channel prior to Inquisition coming out. That's not really a valid option since we've only got like 2 weeks or so before Inquisition's out, so I'd never upload 2 entire games in series in that time. So this gives you the basic backstory of my choices in Origins and Dragon Age 2, building up to the Inquisition series that will be out as soon as fucking possible. I thank you all for watching. I hope you're looking forward to this game as much as I am. If not, you can go fuck yourself. I don't care. But yeah, that's all for now. I thank you for watching. Soul out.